What is up, Paul? Okay, testing my audio to see what the levels are looking like. Okay. The audio levels are not bad at all. I do want to increase it ever so slightly. I need my phone. Okay, testing the audio, 1, 2, 3. Testing the audio, 1, 2, 3. Feels like an appropriate level, all things considered. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much going to be the level there. Looks like the peak would be around, what is that, 20? 25 decibel. So I just need to make sure Paul is right around there as well.
Alrighty.
What is up?
Hello. Let me turn on some lights. My bad.
Way to go.
What could I do? I guess lighting. I don't like it the way it is. Give me a minute.
Gotcha.
I don't like it. I'm gonna fix it. There we go.
Ooh, the Mickey Mouse statues in the back.
Oh yeah, dude. My setup now, I like it so much better in my room. Let me throw up yours so I can see your face. But let me show you this. I don't even have this one on display.
Jesus.
Oh heck yeah, bud.
Oh yeah, well I finally have a statue to my collection. Good sir.
True. I saw your Ash one.
Good sir.
That was sick. Oh. Alright.
That is...
I love it.
I'm going to play so much Ash now. It's not even funny. And apparently, there's like versions of these that you can only get at like live events. Like some of them are like specific collectibles like that. I remember
really?
like, yeah, like the Jinx one I think was only one that I saw at like finals or some shit like that. Nevertheless, freaking cool. And then my dog was trying to steal. She saw it earlier for the first time, but she's trying to steal the Ramus Poro.
I have a leak thing. They're only Funko Pops, but can you see them up there?
Yep. Is that an Amumu?
Yeah, and a Mumu and a Vi and a Lucian.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, the
Mumu
Vi and
one,
Lucian.
The Mumu one came with it all, but I wanted the Vi one specifically.
Yeah.
So
I've seen your Vi. The character's probably better than the in-game thing.
my Vi. What do you mean? My Vi's like my best win rate.
Your Vi is like my Jhin. It wins. It might not be pretty, but it wins.
What do you mean it's not pretty? My Vi is beautiful.
Is my Jhin beautiful?
Yeah.
That yeah. Okay, I bought the confidence on that. Yeah. Okay. Good try. Oh man. How you been?
Sponsored.
Wait, what brand is that?
That's Mountain Dew Rise. It's the LeBron one.
If anybody's if Malibu Rum is trying to sponsor us, I'm 100% down.
But I've been good. Haven't you? Gosh,
I will gladly promote Malibu Rum.
Oh my gosh. Ah, my back.
I don't drink a lot. Like, I barely ever drink, actually, in general. But
really?
It's like, yeah. But it's like rum, pineapple juice, and a little bit of cranberry, or even like fruit punch. Oh, so good.
Oh.
But
all right.
I'll let you lead everything today.
Oh,
today's been a slightly rough one. We'll go into that. We'll go into that off camera. But
oh no,
it's not. It's not really. It's not really an oh no. It's more of a. We'll get into it later.
Okay. Well, welcome to the crossover podcast with now your host 23 Tar Heels 50 and our actual like running it guy David Jainak.
You didn't even say your real name. You didn't even say that your name is Paul.
Well, I did my Twitter handle.
True.
Paul. Okay, I'm Paul. You're welcome, people. I'm Paul.
He is Paul. He's our Paul.
Yeah.
The one and the only. The Vi main that, yeah.
We'll leave Tristana main. Thank you. Um, but for today's first topic, we're gonna jump into Danny in a Travis Gafford interview
Oh boy.
happened to have said that he thinks amateur was just as easy of a jump as, or not amateur. Yeah, it is amateur. He said
Yeah.
the amateur scene was just as easy of a jump as the academy. So I don't know how that made you feel or what you think off that. I definitely think it's an interesting way to say it. I mean, it's not something I've thought about, amateur being just as easy, but I have been hearing in a lot of interviews, and specifically the contracts one, that academy players really only scrim. They don't talk much about drafts. They aren't really that intense during scrims, and that it's kind of like taking days off. Especially Ven said that when he was playing AD carry for C9's academy. He talked about how chilled it was.
I mean, to be fair, well, okay, let's establish one thing first. Danny is the exception, not the rule. Like
True.
that, let's. There are not many players that you immediately plug into the LCS and they perform at that level. We have two examples already this split. Actually, we have way more than two examples, but I mean, the big one is King. He literally was an academy player that got
Yeah.
plugged up and it didn't work. And we've had
Yeah.
several other academy players across FlyQuest and other teams that have gone up and it didn't work. That's not saying that, if an amateur player went up, that they'd be able to do any better. No, I mean, by his logic, and I do agree, academy and amateur are basically like the same skill level.
Yeah.
Then no, like he is the exception, not the rule at all. And a lot of these players definitely do need time to develop, or at least for teams to just give their players a chance to see if they can mold into something. The best example of that would be Poom from last year. He showed decent promise in his first two games, but fizzled out. And the more time they gave him, even though it is a more chilled environment, he still hasn't really proven himself all that much in academy.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And Ryoma. So,
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that one.
yeah. And the only thing about it was, I mean, it's an issue that we've had for a while, is I do think the issues I have with Academy would be that it keeps around a lot of veterans who don't really need to be kept around in the Academy position. They could very easily just be coaches or like positional coaches.
Yeah,
But for some reason, they get held into Academy and they're just taking up an important slot.
like Darshawn. Like
Yeah,
I
Darshawn.
do not understand why he's just not coaching C9 Academy versus
Yeah,
having to play top lane. There's got to be
yeah,
some other talent that you can develop and possibly sell off at that point.
yep. And I mean, Cody's son, like in TSM Academy, he's not really doing anything that screams like, what? When would they ever replace Lost with him? I really don't think
Never.
they ever would. Yeah, there's no reason. But it led me into an even more interesting idea. Was I sent this today to you, but there was an French league this weekend that
Yeah.
had like 170,000 viewers.
The LFL has been absolutely popping off for about a year and a half now, and they're
Yeah,
continuously growing at a very sustainable rate.
yeah, and I'm honestly wondering, like, in NA that would be hard to grab, right?
Mm.
We don't have that kind of country camaraderie, and we definitely don't have enough players to do states.
Yeah, we do.
But you think we do?
I think we do. I now
Well,
to be clear, I don't think it's like all 50 states. Like I don't think you
yeah,
have like I don't think like Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska
yeah,
plays a decent team. Um, I don't think South Dakota comes in and has like any sort of competent team of 5 players.
true.
But New York, Florida, California, North
Mhm.
Carolina, Pennsylvania, Maryland, like there's at least 12 to 14 states that I could consistently see a decent ecosystem developing within
True.
there.
Illinois
Yeah.
too. I mean, chuck them in, and you could. I mean, at the very least, you could do regions. We
Yeah.
love our regions here. You could do South versus Midwest versus like Southeast. I mean, the West Coast East Coast like rivalry you could build would be awesome, but it does make me think you could do some more amateur leagues Now that would be an interesting note for. I know earlier this year teams were talking about getting rid of Academy, and it was really hated by people. But when I got on today on LoL Esports, there were like 4 regional leagues going on in EU, and honestly, I kind of think we should just let that kind of system fly and see how it goes in NA.
I
I
agree,
mean, you can
but
produce some talent.
people are very much against the regional model though.
That's
Like
true.
I mean, I even got into it with
That's
Kelsey
true.
Moser on Twitter a little bit. Is like I firmly believe the regional model is our way forward. And
Yeah.
she was
No, it is.
it was lumped in with college, and she's like, no, it won't ever work. There's too many limitations, and it's
Really?
like I firmly disagree. Like I
Yeah.
truly do disagree. Like I've made this clear many times now, and I'll continue to reiterate it. I want New York City esports to pop off. Like
Yeah.
like when I'm 50, I want to be like the CEO or COO of New York City's League of Legends franchise group. But I've thought about this, and I've like the exercise I've done is like I've thought, can I put together a business model that works in New York?
Mhm.
And my answer was really simple, and it's yeah. And it's almost identical to the LFL model, where it's get people in person involved and involve regional pride.
Yeah.
Get New Yorkers to be proud of New Yorkers. Like I want people to cheer for the team and be there in the same way that they were for Tarek whenever Counter Strike came to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Like people knew that was his home and they cared. I promise you, if you invest the right resources into it and you actually make an effort, I mean like events every weekend. I want your logo and your name plastered everywhere. Like put the resources into it that you need. It would work. I know
Yeah.
it would work. There's enough people that care.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool. I mean, if you could like really push regional leagues, you could even do it like Little League World Series style,
Yep.
where you could just have all the states do that. But you don't even have to commit to that. You can let players from other states play on a certain team that just represents whatever state you want it to.
Yep.
But it would be a lot more fun, and I think people would care. I mean, people would love to do trash talk to other states and call them bad. And it would add some spice to our amateur scene, which currently the spiciest thing about it is that non-org teams keep winning all these tournaments
Yep.
while the next teams from whatever group you want to say, there's EG next, 100 Thieves next, TSM next,
Yeah,
all of them keep getting
it was
beat.
Wildcard Red that won EGL.
Yep.
Like and they
So
now they beat they beat 100 Thieves next in the
yeah.
semifinals and then went on to win the final as well. 100 Thieves beat Evil Genius's Prodigies.
Yep. And it's very interesting to watch, but I don't know if it'll catch on in NA because of exactly what you said is there's not enough people behind it, and it seems like up tops aren't behind it. So if they're not behind it, I don't know what you do. I mean, but right now the academy scene is literally just recycling veterans
I mean, I'm going to be
and
honest, the academy scene
occasionally
is in
bringing in a good player.
shambles. Like have you
Yeah,
seen
it
the
is.
viewership?
Nobody's watching it. Yeah.
No, and it's like
And why would you?
here's the thing, and I've seen people make the argument of, well, you know, amateur league doesn't matter because it's supposed to be the development league. What do you think the French league is? Like
Yeah.
that is a development feeder league into the LEC. Like
Yep.
it's never going to be a major region. It's just going to consistently feed into the LEC.
Hmm.
So how can you sit here and make that same argument when we have clear examples over there? The
Yeah.
difference is, and I know we've touched on this, but we're a console region first, and Europe is PC dominant, especially outside the UK. UK has a lot or a heavy console presence with Call of Duty, uh,
True.
but outside of that, they are PC almost
Hmm.
through and through, and it's like we have a lot of work to change that. But I don't. I'm so tired of hearing that we can't do things when it's just a matter of people not doing them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really tough topic, and there's a lot of fighting that would have to go from North America to get the amount of players we would need. And there's even that argument you made of us not being predominantly PC proves that honestly, do we even have the player base to do what they're doing over that? And it's no for now.
I
So
I think we do like in certain areas we definitely do. Like California would have a massive league presence. Like absolutely
true.
phenomenal. Like people don't understand there's even corporate
100%.
leagues for League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tried to get a Peloton team to get in on it, but when you look at the teams, it's all tech companies out of California. So yes,
Oh,
like there
okay.
is a heavy league presence in California. There's a
Mm-hmm.
decent presence here in New York. I'm not gonna say it's phenomenal, but it's pretty good, all things considered. Uh,
Yeah.
and like Texas and Florida, I'd imagine have a good bit as well. But like we
Mm-hmm.
have pockets where I'd imagine the player base is enough to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of adding in the infrastructure and adding in the capability to do it. I quite frankly do agree with you now, and I know I was on the fence before. Abolish Academy entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of it and
Yeah.
let these orgs field teams and like amateur tournaments and like have the circuits that go around,
Yeah.
but develop the regional leagues. Just try it. What do you have to lose? The current system's not working all that well.
No. No. And I do. Yeah, it's just sad to see. I mean, Academy was such a cool idea, but now that it's just watching old players, it's not that fun. And genuinely, it's not interesting. I know that none of the guys, like 90% of the kids who are new on Academy, anyways, probably aren't playing in the LCS. So why bother watching?
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we can leave that there because it's kind of just sad. But we'll
It is.
jump into the real league,
Oh god.
LCS,
Oh no.
and we can start with your favorite team here. Time for you to take your lashings, my friends. 100 Thieves goes 1-2, and they don't look good doing it.
No,
I mean, it
we
was
should have lost it. We should have been 0-3.
yeah, you could
We
have
should have lost the
very
CLG.
easily gone 0-3. But yeah, are we? So, how are you feeling here as a big fan? Do you think that they're just trying things out and limit testing? Do you think that they just stink? How do you feel?
I will say this, and I'll preface everything I'm about to say with this bit here. I have more faith that this 100 Thieves roster can overcome their adversity to hit that high peak that we saw mid-summer split. Like, I
Mhm.
do have faith that that could happen because we've seen it happen before. We know the talent of all the players. It can easily happen with the right meta read and everything else. As of right now, going into this upcoming weekend, if you don't pick TSM and Evil Geniuses over 100 Thieves, you're trolling. Like, if money is on the line, if somebody has a gun to your head and saying you have to pick these teams, pick a winner.
Mhm.
You don't pick 100 Thieves. Like, they do not have the best read on the meta. Their proactivity is slowed down to a halt. And it just feels like even in the loss to Immortals, like FBI is smashing bot lane. I think he was like 30 CS up at one point, but there's nothing he can do against the Tom Kench that gets fed.
Mhm.
And he literally is just sitting there as a Callista autoing a Tom Kench, and it's like, what do you do at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the worst part of it all really felt like their loss to C9 was just awkward. It wasn't even a good
Yeah,
game from C9.
no,
It was like I was watching it and I just felt weird. And then they lose and I was like, "Oh, that's just terrible." And then they play CLG and it's not even a convincing bounce back win. So
no,
then you're getting really nervous, but there's still one more game to prove that you are the undisputed first place team and they just fall apart against a pretty bad Immortals right now.
yeah,
And that's not a good look going into 1 week before playoffs.
no,
Next week is even worse because they got TSM and EG.
yeah,
And I mean, TSM always loses on Fridays. So I would say if you're going to play TSM, it's best to play them early,
yeah.
And
And it would
But
be the most 100 Thieves thing in the world to do, to beat TSM and then lose to both Golden Guardians and EG and the win not matter against TSM.
yeah, and then TSM gets first.
Yeah, and they get it that way regardless of the outcome there. Like that, there is
Yeah.
a like there is a very likely scenario where that could happen. And it's just like I feel like
Yeah.
we say this every year come Worlds time, and this was
Mhm.
evident during the double lift era as well. As like you can have the best bot lane in the world, and it won't always matter. And the gap between FBI and Huhi and every other bot lane is not as significant as it was with double lift and core JJ or double lift and Biofrost.
Mhm.
So we are finally in an era where the priority on mid jungle is so important, which is good because that's what it's going to be at Worlds too. It always is.
Yep.
And Abadage and Closer compared to where they were 3 weeks ago is nowhere close to the same. Like they have,
Yeah.
I don't want to say they've fallen off of a cliff, but can we name any like significantly impactful things that they've done other than Closer getting Baron in the CLG fight and getting like a quadra kill there?
Yeah. I mean, really, it's weird to say this, but I don't think Closer's been playing that bad.
No.
That's the thing. I actually think Closer has, as odd as this is, because they're losing a lot more now. I think he's actually making a even better case for him getting MVP.
Yeah.
Like the longer this is going, and Abadage is just looking weird. I
That
mean,
I don't get
he's
it.
not terrible. He's not like bad. It's just he doesn't look great.
Yeah.
And that's a worrying trend. I mean, hopefully it doesn't continue on, but it's definitely worrying.
Especially with Someday not playing well top. Like
Yep.
there is no hiding that Someday is struggling
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Someday is a problem.
I like
He's a problem.
I don't
I don't know what to tell you there.
I'll
Fritz.
save my thoughts for off season on that because I don't want to repeat the same talking points. But it's like I think it was somebody on the I think it was the guys on the 100 Talk podcast that brought it up. They're like, why would you not pick Tom Kench for Someday? That is such a Someday pick, where it's like tanky character that goes in and just messes everything up. That's like Someday's entire career. That's exactly what he does. That's what he thrives in.
Yeah.
Why would you not pick that? And that just to me screams either A, really bad meta read, which I highly doubt Reaper has, like a horrible meta read like that bad. Like he'll int some drafts, but like he's never fully that off. Or B, it's lack of confidence from some of the players, which I would not doubt when they're slumping that some of these players are lacking confidence because they have no resiliency in a best of 5. We've seen that. So we know the mental state is fragile with them. It would not surprise me if like them climbing up built the ego a little bit too much and now they're just not sure how to curve it back.
Yeah. And Reaper isn't exactly the greatest coach to have when your team is slumping. This isn't like a trying to slam him or say he's bad. I think he's a great pickup and you shouldn't get rid of him like that. I'm just saying, like, when you're struggling, he definitely makes some weird decisions at times. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it. I mean, figure it out. He's definitely like not exactly the most confidence inducing though when a team
No,
is
but like he does a good job of building up individual players.
he does.
Which is like
He really does.
that's the part of me that's happy is like Closer is playing way better than he ever was under Golden Guardians or anybody else. FBI is playing arguably some of the best he's ever played. Huhi a little bit iffy. Abadage, we've only seen one split, so it's like, it's very hard
Some
to
days just what are you
and
do?
Someday just is what it is.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know
especially
what to
like
do.
Someday got gapped by Fudge in the C9 game.
Yeah, and you love C9, so we'll jump in. Well, who doesn't love Fudge? Everybody for some reason just loves Fudge. Fudge can do no
do.
wrong.
Have you seen him play?
He can't time an inhibitor.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
I mean that,
What can you do?
that
What
sucks,
can
but
you
then
do?
again, we've also seen
Okay.
Fnatic and G2 do that in their prime. So
Yeah,
it's like,
I know. No, I was just joking. You knew I was gonna beat it.
yeah, I
though.
did.
You knew. But C9, I mean, the game that they beat you all in might not have been convincing.
But
Uh,
Fudge still looked freaking amazing in that
Fudge
game.
looks incredible in every game. I mean, Fudge is one of the best tops in NA, probably the best top. I mean, it's between him and Hooney, and I don't think it's that close. I think Fudge is pretty far out there as the best.
I would have been willing
Uh,
to say had Cloud9 made the comeback and finished first in the split, that Fudge would have been our MVP.
yeah, he would
But
have been. He's the
because
best
they
player on that
lost
team.
to TSM, Spica is going to get a lot of credit there because Spica definitely gapped the hell out of Blabber in that game.
Really, you thought he played insane?
Not played insane, but like there was a significant difference in jungle and mid. Now I know Perks wasn't playing well, but like
Yeah,
especially on the LeBlanc game, like I messaged you mid game, like Perks was zoning decently well
yeah,
in that game. Like it was a combination of like the mid jungle duo that just collapsed, and Spica stepped up really hard. Same with Poe.
yeah. I definitely thought Perseus Zoe was struggling, but it could have been TSM's comp a little bit too. Uh, I thought Blabber's Olaf though is pretty clean in team fights. He looked really good. Spica does play the map really well, and no matter how much people hate it, who needs Jace? That man destroys
Oh,
lanes when he gets Jace.
it was
Like,
it was so good,
yeah,
so good.
Blabber's, I mean, or my bad, Fudge is like definitively one of our best top laners, if not the best. And Hooney's just out here destroying him in lane. Like, obviously, he got a lot of team help though. That helped as well.
Yeah,
But that first turret take was so quick,
it was.
and that's good
What
to see.
what impressed me even more though is like as good as that was from
Hmm.
Hooney to get that sort of lead, as you said, with help from his team as well.
Yeah,
The fact that Fudge was deathless and all that, and still
sure.
relatively keeping up in items, all things considered, was amazing. And still making a significant impact until they chucked it at the end. Like that was the only time that Fudge, like, you can look at it and say, okay, they just did not play that well as a whole, including Fudge. But prior to that, you can't really look at it and say, like, okay, his Viego was not the best.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem. I mean, Blabber's Olaf in team fights was literally making it impossible.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna win because of Olaf for a minute, but and Spica was kind of trolling some of those fights, like not
Some of them.
using R and Flash was kind of starting to piss me off. But I mean, that's whatever. The and Lost and Sword are low key kind of balling
They're,
out.
yeah. I mean, well,
I
that's
don't
what
know what's
everybody
going
said
on.
about Sword Art, was that he was going to make them a scary bot lane by the end of the split.
True,
People just doubted it all the way up
and
until
we've
now.
said that.
Yeah.
We have been stating it since spring that
Hmm.
they're a late summer team,
Yep.
and now they're a late summer team. So, I
We
mean, the game
s-
wasn't clean. I don't want anybody to get the idea that you and I are going to sit here and say it was the cleanest game ever. But the thing that made me happy about it was at least both teams were responding to each other's plays.
Yeah. And let me just go on a quick side tangent on that. To any of the people that will inevitably say or comment that, oh, it's LCS LOL, or that these games are not clean mechanics. And I know Paul just sent me a message earlier saying how he watched it. He watched all the games back, and it was just the same mistakes over and over again on both the LCS and LCK. I,
LEC. LEC.
or sorry, LCS and
Yeah,
LEC. I do not care.
I know.
I will continue to
I know.
live in my delusion that this is entertaining. Well, not delusion. This is quite frankly entertaining. And
It
I know
is.
we're not going to be the best team in the world, and our mechanics aren't going to be clean. We don't have the coaches for that. We don't have the infrastructure. You people are expecting something that's impossible to happen. Adjust your expectations for where we should be, which is realistically the fourth biggest region or the fourth best region in the world, maybe even fifth. And
Hmm.
we're right there. Like we are like we're in line with that expectation. If,
Yeah.
if people want to continuously compare us to the LPL, sure, I get our money is up there. But the reality is everything else is not.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I mean, the game wasn't even that bad. Like I'll say the biggest difference I've noted between LCS and LEC is that LEC teams when they're losing run it down a little faster.
Hmm.
That's about it. I mean, LCS teams will slow it down. I didn't think though TSM was just running down the C9 game. I thought C9 left a couple Barons up for grabs that they could have tried, but at the end of the day, their comp wasn't really that quick at taking Baron. And every time they went for Baron, TSM was getting there in time to kill at least 2 or 3 of them. So it wasn't like C9 was getting all of these objectives for free and just like taking over the game. People are just like, oh man, C9's going to get all this stuff for free, but it's kind of hard to take Baron when like there's a Jace with 400 farm and full items.
And he's just
Like,
poking you all the time. Like he hit,
yeah,
he missed a few shockwaves, but like overall, his
yeah,
EQs were insane.
yep. And I mean, there was also an Oriana and a Leona. So if you really want to get into a Baron pit and 4-man stack it so that the Ori and Leo can just jump in with a Jace, then fine, do what you want to do, make that call. But I feel like at the end of the day, that call it can look really bad if the enemy team responds well at all, and then all of a sudden everyone's calling you a troll.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, with that C9, the other 2 games, I mean, they weren't really that insane. That the FlyQuest is just kind of dead, so that's whatever. Um, the 100 Thieves one, they played it pretty good. I mean, they played to their win conditions, and whenever Fudge decided to start showing up to team fights, C9 just took over the game and won.
Yeah.
So that's basically the breakdown for that.
To be fair, they nearly threw it, but then they didn't.
No, they really did. Like
And then-
that's why I was like, I really am not confident in C9 off of that.
Yeah.
It didn't like scream to me, man, C9 just came back and took over and it's time. And that leads us into TSM where we kind of have felt the same. I mean,
Yeah, I
do
wouldn't
you
say my
feel confident
expectation.
in them?
No, I do and I don't. Like I feel confident that they're going to Worlds. Like that. Like I have 100% faith that they are going to Worlds and that they are a solid enough team to make sure that they put away either Immortals, it'd be Immortals, Team Liquid, or 100 Thieves on a
Yep.
that game's gonna be tough. But I could also see them putting away EG. Cloud9 in a best of 5, I feel like is gonna be tough.
Yep.
Like I feel like it's gonna be really, really tough.
Mhm.
But overall, yeah, my feeling is still the same with them. That they're still ramping up. Like it still feels like there's another gear left to this roster, especially with the bot lane still improving on a consistent basis.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, it's just very tough to think. I don't know. It's tough to think that anyone can run away with it right now. TSM does seem really good with that. Like we've said, their bot lane has been getting better. Huni just looks really good right now, so that is nice. I mean,
Yeah.
if Huni can keep it up, I mean, and if you look at TSM's weekend, like outside of Power Evil just running it down in the EG game
Yeah.
and absolutely just yucking it to the other side, like it was a pretty good weekend.
Yeah.
They could have won cleaner in some games, but
Yeah.
it wasn't awful, and they managed to lane really well with EG. So that gave me some hope. Like, actually, maybe they're getting there. I don't know. I mean, that leaves us with EG2, and we felt. I mean, EG did seem a little off this week.
I told you I needed one more really good week to feel entirely confident in them. And it's the same worry that I had coming into it is just saying, look, teams get hot. 100 Thieves got hot, they've fallen off. EG got hot, they haven't fallen off yet, but we're starting to see the same cracks that we saw whenever 100 Thieves fell off. That it's like they could potentially be taken advantage of. Yeah. And it's specifically through mid and jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it was watching Jizuke and Svenskans contracts kind of get a little bullied. Uh, their bottom lane was playing pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't playing special though, which I
No,
thought was a little odd. Uh,
but you can't
I just
expect
don't
them
know
to.
how to feel. Yeah,
Like
that's true.
you
That's
can't
true.
expect like real in a realistic world, Danny and Ignar are at best going to go even with FBI Huhi and with
Mhm.
Lost and Sword Art when they're performing at a higher level.
Yeah,
Uh, I would expect them actually to beat Vulcan and Sven at the current moment. Uh,
true.
but we'll find out about that on Friday. And it's like I just expect them to be consistent bot lane. Like it really
Yeah.
is going to depend on Impact and Shizuke, in my opinion, because I think their jungler situation is just a mess right now
Mhm.
between contracts and Svenskeren.
Sounds
They're
good,
both
yeah.
good, but like I can't imagine that splitting time is going to work well for them in playoffs.
No. And this schedule, I mean, they're about to run the gauntlet. Like, essentially. This is going to be so hard. I mean, they play Cloud9 into Team Liquid into 100 Thieves.
Yeah,
So if you want something that will break the mental of a roster right before playoffs, a roster that is prone to tilt, might I add, then this is it right here. This is something that can break them. Now, if they happen to come through it pretty clean, I mean, if we can, I think there's a good chance they go 1-2
yeah,
in this weekend. And I don't love the thought of that. I'm not excited to think that they go 1-2. I mean, they were really close to going 1-2 last weekend. They were kind of honestly gifted the game from Power of Evil playing Syndra like Lee Sin.
yeah.
Like, that to me was weird. So I don't see a team inting every game to give you that. So they're going to have to figure something out. And it's going to be interesting if they can keep it going. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, that just leaves us with what we have left is Fly and TL. And I
TL
mean,
TL. I think it
TL
was
is
Mark Z
just
that said it best. TL is the clutch gaming of the league now, where it's like they beat all the teams below them, they don't beat the teams above them, and they're just the
yeah.
gatekeeper that we can like.
That's,
They might pull off an upset against like TSM or something like that. Like if
that's a
they
good
play
one.
like really really
Yeah.
well, like clutch gaming 2018. But like
Yeah.
overall, I just we
I
said
wouldn't.
we said that their jungle is a problem, and that is
Yeah.
very much evident. But at the same time, Core JJ is not having the same impact in bot lane with tactical, and
No.
Jensen is just not playing
Well, at all.
well.
No. No. And Alfari, I mean, he still looks like Alfari.
Okay,
So,
controversial opinion. Alfari was the worst thing that happened to the TL roster to split. They would have been better sticking with Bob Jenkins
really?
because I think it changed their style way too much mid split because they're throwing everything that they can at top lane, trying to make sure that
True.
Alfari can guide them into the light. And it's like, no, you need more than top lane. And it
Yeah.
feels like they're just trying to clutch on to the one thing that they're really good at, and that's top lane, smashing lane, and try and see if that can win. But that's not going to work in playoffs.
No.
They would have been better off keeping Bob Jenkins in and learning how to play around other lanes as well.
Yeah. I actually can agree with you there a little bit. I mean, obviously, Alfari is the better player. We both agree there, I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like.
not denying that.
But yeah, it did mess with their little bit of synergy they had left. I think it really does hurt them that uh it's not pretty what Greg is doing in their jungle.
Yeah.
Not to say he deserves the hate because the poor man got pushed in there, but it is tough to watch and it is not fun. Uh, yeah, I just feel bad. Yeah, I don't think they'll do much. FlyQuest has just fallen off. Like, I don't know what
Well,
happened, but those
they did
boys
you see
try
they
hard.
changed their roster?
They changed it again now.
Yeah.
Oh god,
NXI and the mid laner are out. Palafox and Jose Dioto are back in.
good for them. Don't think it does anything, but good for them.
Same.
Um, yeah, I mean, basically what we're looking at here, I feel like, is we're going to a last week where EG could easily end up anywhere from 3rd to 5th,
Yep.
I would say. So can Cloud9 and TL. All three of them are in some weird scramble. The hardest schedule being EG's. TL's is not easy either. And Cloud9 actually has TL and Cloud9 have the same one basically. Because Cloud9 and TL both play EG, and then Cloud9 and TL play each other. EG plays 3 good teams. So that just happens to suck. And then you're looking at Cloud9 plays Dig, and EG plays Immortals.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is, can EG pull it off and be clutch, get their what they want?
Maybe. I don't think so. Here's what I want to do: predictions. I want to go game by game, and we give who we think is going to win. But first, I want to run this take by you because I saw this on Twitter earlier today, and it just made me want to bash my head into a wall. This is a writer for Invin Global, might I just add in there. He said, FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians should be the match of the week on Friday due to the postseason implications. I like when LCS matches of the week have some narrative or historical significance instead of just top team versus top team, and this would be refreshing. Like, okay, let me break down this argument real quick because it's simple. You like when they have narrative or historical significance. They're playing for the 8th seed in the LCS playoffs in a time where Worlds matters most. So anything that they're doing means absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, FlyQuest. I'm sorry, Golden Guardians. But no, you're not. TSM versus 100 Thieves. Implications on first seed. Potential implications on making it to Worlds. Impacts on both Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses with the result of this one game. And settling the tiebreaker for the entire split.
Yeah. No, whoever wins this game probably gets first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're really going to sit here and tell me FlyQuest and Golden Guardians is more important? Get the fuck out of here.
Even with the new bracket, first gets to pick who they play and side selection, which is massive. We cannot understate that.
Meanwhile, the winner of FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, gets to go 0-3.
What do you want me to say to that? Yeah, they're gonna get destroyed. Like, does he think that FlyQuest is gonna make a dream run if they win?
They can't even keep the same roster going into their final week.
Yeah.
They're done.
Golden Guardians isn't making a dream run.
Also, how are you gonna tell me match of the week should be that whenever they're only gonna drive like 25,000 viewers?
Oh man, that's true.
What?
That hurts.
Nobody cares. Don't sit here and don't feed BS narratives. Like,
I mean, they get less than an LFL match.
Yeah, well, I mean, so does 100 Thieves and TSM, but that's beside the point.
Well, no. I'm saying like the LFL match today had 30K.
Oh, okay, yeah. So at least 100 Thieves TSM pulls more than that.
Yeah. Like, that is brutal. I mean, you could at least, for 100 Thieves TSM, say, maybe with co-streams we break 150, right?
Yeah.
You could, like, and throw in YouTube. I don't know. Do whatever you need to make yourself believe. But nobody cares about FlyQuest Golden Guardians. And nor should they.
That's what I feel like. You are too deep in, like, the extreme niche metas of the league, and you're not taking a step back to just see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like,
I mean,
I responded to the tweet, and it's like, I wanted to be nice, but there were so many people in there that agreed, and it was like, what? Even, get this, even the esports physical therapist for Cloud9, EG, and 100 Thieves responded back saying, honestly, they've both been playing a really fun to watch style, the narrative of Licorice against his former team and teammates. Stoked for this one.
Wait, say that again? I need to hear that again.
Honestly, they've both been playing a really fun to watch style, the narrative of Licorice and against his former team and teammates, even back to C9. stoked for this one. And other people were agreeing with it as well. It's like, how? Like, I don't.
What style is it losing?
I don't like I get people are sick of top team versus top team, but there's impacts. I don't know if it's just TSM being that in that match that people are like jaded against TSM, but it's like, nah, suck it up. Sorry, FlyQuest is not good
Yeah.
anymore. Golden Guardians has never been good. I don't know. I don't want to waste too much more time on it. I do want to get to LEC, but it's just
I mean,
there's no way to rationalize that. There's no way that a sane person looks at that and is like, yeah, that should be match of the week.
I mean, it's just so bad.
That's
such a bad
also
take.
that's a horrible business decision. Literally horrible. Who are you gonna promo in your video for match of the week? Licorice?
Yeah.
And who are you gonna get from FlyQuest? Jose Dioto? What?
No. Yeah. No.
Ugh.
I mean,
Anyways.
it's like.
Speaking of teams sucking,
All right, we'll go into LEC. We'll
Fnatic.
go into Fnatic. In my words, I will say like this. I said this. They took the week off.
yeah, they did.
Let's act like they took a vacation. It didn't matter. They're good. They obviously didn't want first place at all because they didn't try.
They got dismantled. Like, absolutely dismantled in these two games.
I mean, here's an interesting thing. We've been talking about it for a while, about Bwipo, and this was what I meant when I put I hate bringing up the same points. I want to stop talking about how I think Niski is a bit of a problem for them.
But he's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, this week, did you see what I've been saying a
Yeah.
little bit? That I really do think he cannot contend with elite mid laners.
No.
Like, and we saw it against Larson. Larson, like, kind of ate his booty hole. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing about it that was good. Like, he was down way hard in CS. I mean, honestly, Rogue with CS alone had almost a 1.5, possibly 2 to 3K gold lead. Like, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And I was like, this team is just getting gapped in CS. Like, this is terrible. And Bwipo in jungle has been inty a lot lately. I don't know why. He started out really nice, but last week on the Karthus he looked bad. And then this week he looked good on Rengar. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, well, I will say with the Rengar game, he got a crap hand in draft.
True.
Like, the Rengar pick worked so well early, but you just knew there was coming this point where he'd be rendered completely irrelevant, and nobody else on his team could help him speed up the pace of the game to the point where they could end it in time.
No.
And it's like, I do not discount Bwipo on that at all. Like, that was, in my opinion, that was a phenomenal game from Bwipo. That was just everybody else on the team not doing enough.
Yep. And I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I just agree with that. I don't think he did anything wrong. I thought Adam played okay that game too. Honestly, I thought Adam played fine this whole weekend. Like, from all the games I saw. I didn't think Adam was much of a problem. I wanted to, like, try to draw up some idea. Like, my issue was I didn't want to just say Niski looked bad, because I wanted to be able to say, oh, Adam looked a little weak this weekend, or Hilly had some inty moments. I mean, when does he?
Yeah.
Hilly can int at any moment. And Upset looked fine. And then I look at mid lane and I'm like, mid lane's pretty far behind both games.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And I want to, like, not harp on him, but at the same time, I guess we'll see how playoffs goes. Like, I don't love that he's about to run into full form humanoid and full form Larson and full form Caps, but we'll see how he does against them. Like, I hope it pays off for him.
Well, let's segue that then real quick, so we could just get this topic out of the way, so we can get to the meat of that. Does Rogue secure first seed because they play XL, Vitality, and SK? So, like, is that a foregone conclusion that they're first? I would assume.
I think, yeah, because I mean, I even wrote it down in notes. Like, that's such an easy week, dude. Like, how do you not? I mean, if they lose to XL, Vitality, or SK, like, then they just don't want first, I guess.
Yeah. So
That's
we
all I can think of.
we both agree with that. Cool. Done and dusted. Mad Lions of G2.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that is a hard one. I mean, Mad Lions weekends. I said it was tough, and it is tough. G2, Fnatic, Misfits. They're literally playing every team that is tied with them or below them. So, I mean, like, this is all the teams fighting with them for second. They're playing every single one. So, if
Yeah.
Mad Lions wants second, they basically have to dream run the whole weekend. And on top of that, I mean, it's even worse for them is that Fnatic and Misfits play each other, right? So
Yeah.
that's good. They get one bailout there if they happen something goes wrong. If they lose to G2, not a huge deal. They're one game behind second. They can maybe bring it back. Like the biggest hope would be what? That well, they even play Misfits, so they really don't care who wins that game,
Yeah.
right? And if they lose to G2, that's no big deal. But then after that, G2 plays Schalke, Misfits plays SK, Fnatic plays Schalke, G2 plays XL. That's not really great for them.
No.
Like
Like
yeah,
this is
that's
the
terrible.
test. Oh, absolutely. This is the test week for both Mad
Yeah,
Lions and Misfits. Like Misfits, even though they like we called it out last week and this week, they stabilized a little bit, but they are definitely still on like a downward trend. This
yeah,
is where you have to prove that you can hang with the big dogs. It's
yep,
we will find out this weekend whether it's going to be a 4-team race for Worlds or a 5-team race for Worlds.
yep.
Because Misfits realistically, like any of these teams on a really good day can cause an upset.
Uh huh.
Like they're quite frankly, I don't think and like even with Rogue, even how good they've looked, nobody is safe in this playoffs in the LEC.
Mm-hmm.
Like every game is a must watch,
Yeah,
barring whoever the 6th team is to get in. They're getting smashed. Sorry, it is what it is.
yeah.
Uh, I I still want to see Misfits do well. Being honest, like even though we shit talked them a good bit last week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I would quite frankly. Okay, who would you rather send, Mad Lions or Misfits?
Ooh. What do you
Well,
mean, like
okay. Let me expand
worlds?
this. Yeah, let me expand this.
Well, it's only 3 teams going for
Yeah,
LEC,
are you
right?
assuming that it's Fnatic, G2, and Rogue still, or are you feeling confident
Mm.
enough that you'd be
I don't
willing to
think
put?
Misfits is above G2. I think it's between Mad and G2.
Agreed, but would you say Fnatic is above G2?
Yes.
Okay, so then you're still locking in Rogue,
Yes.
Fnatic,
Yes.
G2, and you're saying that Mad Lions and Misfits are
Oh, I see. I would rather send Mad. Yeah, I would rather send Mad than Misfits, but I'd
okay.
rather send G2 than Misfits as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's in line. I must say, it would make me the happiest guy in the world to make the LEC fans just a little bit mad and have Misfits upset G2 and it be Rogue, Fnatic, and G2 go
Yeah.
into Worlds. Because we all know the Misfits would get absolutely smashed and they finally feel how North America has felt for years, where our 3rd seed is completely irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing is this battle for 5th seed is kind of huge because you go straight to lower bracket.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's not really. I haven't really seen that talked about a ton on Twitter by people. So I wonder if people notice it that much. But yeah, 5th seed is giga screwed. Like, so you kind of got to see who goes there. And then at the same time, didn't we already see a EU team go to Worlds and look worthless? I mean, when EU sent a 4th seed, it was
I
kind of
mean,
a
yeah,
problem.
but in the
They were
era
not
where
full
they,
teams.
yeah, but the last time they sent 3 teams, all 3 got out.
True.
It was
Good
it
point.
was Splice, G2, and Fnatic, and all of them made
Yeah.
it out of groups.
Good point. Good point.
And the year
I mean,
before
I know
that,
they're good. I know
yeah,
they're good.
the year before that,
But
2018, did all 3 make it out?
I don't know.
Because I know G2 and Fnatic both made semifinals.
So here's a question: do we think Rogue is gonna win it all this time? Are we convinced?
No, no, I'm not gonna.
I'm not either.
I'm not picking a winner of the LEC until the weekend that we have to predict it. Because
Yeah.
until I know who the final three teams are, I'm not putting a damn dollar on anything because I have no clue.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I watched this weekend of LEC, I know this sounds like being annoying because it's coming from an A guy, but obviously we're not. I'm not super homer on NA. I just want to watch, and uh, yeah, the games this weekend from Mad Lions, even though they had a good week, weren't exactly clean and quick.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like all the games weren't clean and quick. Even G2 in their wins wasn't just raffle stomping teams.
No.
G2 was battling to win these games. Now, people can say that means LEC is super deep. Do I believe them? No, I don't think Misfits is really that good. And they're fourth right now, technically. So that's kind of interesting. Uh, and then I'm not 100% convinced by Rogue. Like, Rogue is their best team. Rogue is performing really well. But Rogue, like, there was a moment I watched Trimby this week. He accidentally hit Rakanar in Baron Pit, then flashed over the wall, W'd, didn't even hit his R on Bwipo. I don't remember if they killed Bwipo or not, but then him and Hansama get tower dove by 4, both die. They take top tower, and he was laughing in the player cam like, ha ha ha, my bad. They end up winning the game anyways. But I was like, dude, you do that on a world stage. Like, you make a mistake that bad where you blow Rakanar for no reason, blow Flash for no reason, blow W for no reason, and then both of you get killed instantly, and then they take a tower. I feel like a world's caliber team will punish you much harder.
They'd snowball the game and it'd be over right then and there.
Yeah, at least a Chinese or Korean team. They'd be like, "Oh, these guys suck."
I'd be
They'd
willing
be
to say
like,
Chinese
"Okay."
team. I would not be willing to say Korean team.
I guess that's true. It'd take
Which,
a good Korean team.
speaking of that, I do want to pull that into your message that you sent me of Mickey X saying that he feels like LCK bot lanes are worse than the LEC.
Oh, we're jumping into that now.
Yeah, I want to know your thoughts because I mean it's pretty relevant to this discussion right
no,
here.
it is. It is. I disagree because I think Yamayusi on SKT really good. I think Ghost is still a good ADC. I think Beryl is not a great support. I think Kiera is a really good support. So SKT's bottom lane is pretty good. Gen G's bottom lane happens to be quite okay. If you're trying to tell me right now that you think, dang it, I can't remember their names. Why do I feel like an idiot? If you're trying to tell me right now that Life and Ruler cannot handle the pressure of an LEC bottom lane, then okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, do you want me to laugh at you now or laugh at you later? Like, Ruler can definitely handle whatever pressure you think that you're going to put on him. Do I think they're just going to giga stomp like Days of Old? No. I think LEC bot lanes are fine. Don't get me wrong. I think that Upset, Reckless, Hansama can all handle their weight. I think they can all handle their weight very easily. I think Karzi has proven he's a world-class bottom laner. Don't get me wrong. But there was a MSI tournament where we saw a very bad Ghost and Beryl still manage to get through the top bottom lanes from other regions.
That proves exactly the point that I want to make. And I'm going to somewhat counter your point by saying that I do agree with Mickey X that LEC bot lanes are better than LCK bot lanes, especially internationally. I think there's not a single LCK bot laner that I would put on Reckless's caliber of in Worlds of late. Like, Reckless was literally smashing Jackie Love the last time we saw him at Worlds. I don't care whether he's fallen off a little bit or not. I have full faith in Hansama and who else am I forgetting? Who's Fnatic's AD carry again?
Upset.
I have full faith in them to hold through. Here's my problem with this statement. bot lane doesn't matter at Worlds.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. Like, you can have the best ADC in the world. They are only as good as their mid jungle duo.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any of the LEC mid jungle duos compare to probably at least the top 2 teams in Korea, all of the teams in the LPL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's gonna like Yankos and Caps, nowhere close at the moment. Not even in the same ballpark. Blippo and Niski, we've already touched on that. Don't have to go into that any further.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 that might stand up would probably be Inspired and Larson.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, they're the only 2 that might be able to keep up. And even then, I still feel like the way they play still will get abused at Worlds. In the best of 5.
You got to watch though much of no, you don't watch much LCK, right?
No, I do not.
Then there's Deoctum too. He's the bottom laner for Nangjim Red Force.
Yep.
Yeah, NS Red Force, whatever you want to call him. He's actually pretty clean. I think personally, I don't think he's awful. And obviously everyone's gonna hype up Gamma UC because people love SKT.
Yep.
But he's actually a really good bottom laner, and I think he can hold his weight against LEC or win LEC lanes.
Yeah.
I really don't think he's that bad. Like, honestly, some of these LEC lanes, I think they're just getting cocky. And some of the things they're saying, they're not exactly doing anything that screams to me that they're special. Like, go watch Viper and Gala for just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Watch RNG highlights and EDG highlights. And then go watch LEC bottom lanes, and you'll be like, wow, they are cocky. Like, to say what they just said was cocky. I mean, even watching LCK highlights, you can see the skill. And I like what you said, that it doesn't matter, because the skill that comes from the top side of the map in LCK is going to shock some of these LEC guys. Like, if you think for a second that Niski is going to have a good time against Showmaker or what is his name? Or Gory, but also BDD. Like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like, BDD is so good.
And that's the thing that gets me, is like, to a certain extent, I like the cockiness, because what do you want them to do? Be like, no, we're probably worse. Like, nah, screw that. Be cocky. I like that. But at the same time, like, it's our job as fans to look through and see the BS and be like, okay, sure, you have a decent argument there, but it does not matter. Like, it's 2 6th graders picking on each other while the 8th graders standing off to the side just waiting and being like, what the hell are you 2 idiots doing? Meanwhile, the LCS is the kindergartner still walking out or still in school waiting to get released 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a little weird. It's not the worst. Like, we can get over it. It's whatever. It's the call they chose to make. But it's definitely a little troll in some ways when you have, like, when you just have these comments from LEC guys saying it, because it's like basically the 4th best mid laner you're going to get to face at Worlds is going to be Faker. That's never a good sign.
Nope.
Like, that's tough. But you are right. Like, you have to have some amount of confidence, and I do enjoy that. And I would hate for them to just act like they can't win. Like, that would just be boring. Like, I agree. I can't disagree with that. And I mean, I want to hear it from LCS guys too. I want to hear them say that they're going to win. Like, that's what's enjoyable.
I'm just saying, there's going to be 6 European mid laners at Worlds. So, yeah.
True. And you're going to... And if you think Spica isn't going to try to ratio some Asian player...
Oh, I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for Spica to just start trolling the LCK and LPL pros and him not give one shred of a shit. And because he speaks Mandarin, he'll actually be able to flame them back too. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Like,
it's going to be hilarious.
TSM is 100% the team to watch come Worlds, because it's like, if 100 Thieves goes, like Papa Smithy and all them are going to be respectable. FBI is going to be humble. Like it's not going to be
Yeah.
anything like too bad. If EG goes, Jizuke will smack talk a little bit, but it's more like crazy talk. It's not really like,
It's like
you
your
know,
uncle.
yeah, it's like your uncle. Like there are some
Yeah.
bits of good information there, but a lot of times it's just, casual poking fun. Uh,
Yeah.
Cloud9 is just going to be just dumb. It's like your mom trying to be cool. It's just, it doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like there's the fudge knuckle sandwich. Like, okay, whatever. And then there's Spica. Spica is the little brother who's been abused all of his life by his older brother and
Yeah.
picked on the entire time. And he's just gonna come in and he'll just throw in those little daggers that are gonna hurt. And it's gonna
Yeah.
piss so many people off. And eventually those jabs are gonna start to wind up a bit. And then all of a sudden, he's just gonna come in with a haymaker. He's just
Yeah.
gonna come in with some sort of Mandarin insult. And the LPL fan base is gonna be so pissed off. And it's gonna be great.
Yep. And they're like, people are gonna be so mad. LS is gonna be spamming him, like
Oh, I cannot wait.
joking with him, because LS and him have a great relationship because he actually like gets builds from LS. So it's kind of gonna be hilarious to listen to them talk. And I mean, we've already seen this man. If you watch TSM Legends, like, did you see the Huni clip
Yeah.
at all? Where he goes, like, Soren goes, well, Speaker, what would you rather have? Huni stay in lane and die or take your jungle camp? And he goes, die. Without even flinching. Just goes, die. I'd rather him die, to be honest. And Bear's like, okay, shut up. And he just goes on his own thing. And I mean, this man constantly says, like, things like, well, if somebody doesn't get that, they're just bad. I don't feel the need to explain the game to them. And I'm like, this dude is not meant for NA. He's
No.
to actually just, his expectations are through the roof of every player. He expects them all to be good. He expects them all to play at a level that they'll never actually play at. I wish that TSM would have bought Golden Guardians bot lane instead of 100 Thieves, so we could have seen FBI, Spica, and Huhi try to ball out together. Because I think we'll never see the three of them on a roster, and I think that's a crime.
FBI, Spica, and Huhi, with that bot lane boasted up by Spica's confidence, would be absolutely insane.
Yes. And the trash talk between FBI and Spica, like just forcing each other to be better just through sheer like will. Oh, it'd be disgusting.
Throw Fudge in there too, because
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
If
I
I'm
mean,
built,
that
if
should
I'm
be our all pro roster.
it realistically, I think. Well, okay, so
It won't be because of narrative, but it'd be a fun all pro
we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, I definitely think like if I'm building my team to like drive viewership at Worlds, it's Fudge, Spica. I have no. You could put literally anybody mid. I don't care. And then FBI Hootie.
Yeah. And it's gonna be weird. I mean, it's gonna be awkward. Definitely. I think with our expectations, next week will be nice. Finally, getting through the last week of LCS and getting into some playoffs that mean something. Like, it's just annoying being this close to playoffs but not in them. And we just want to know who's in Worlds, to be honest. That's what everybody wants to know. Right now, this is the most exciting time of the year for League of Legends because we're entering that area where everyone's fighting for Worlds and everyone's fighting for. Then at Worlds, you're fighting to see who's actually a good region, which is terrifying. Like,
it's how important do you think this is for North America?
This is it. I feel like not even being over the top. I feel like this is one of those things that you call last hurrah. Like not that the league will die, right? The league will be back next year. It'll be there. It'll be fine. But if there's any chance they want to see viewership go up, you're going to have to start winning.
Yeah.
Internationally. And your greatest hope right now is not really looking good is the best way to put it. Like, I'm going to need to see a playoffs where every team balls out. Like, if I have any hope. And right now I'm worried that a TSM that I don't know, man. I don't want to say it because I don't like the thought of them actually being the best team in LCS. But they are, like, they actually look best. and it's gross.
We'll
It's
see.
gross.
It's
I mean,
leading up to be. Would you say that this is probably the best weekend of LCS and LEC games that we've ever had?
yes, yeah, for sure. You're
Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, the scheduling worked out so good.
Yeah.
It couldn't have worked out better. Um, I mean, we're literally about to watch 100 Thieves TSM battle it out on Friday for first.
Yeah.
And that first match cannot be overstated because it is so important to get to pick your side and who you're playing.
And also
And
just get that one
yeah,
game gap in the final weekend where literally anything can happen
hmm,
is so important. And
yes,
more importantly, it gives you that tiebreaker that even if say TSM
yeah,
wins or 100 Thieves wins and they slip up a game, it doesn't matter. You have
yeah,
that buffer because you still hold the tiebreaker over TSM
yeah.
or the other team.
You would have to go 0-2 the next two games,
Yeah.
and they would have to 2-0, which is so unlikely.
Yep.
So, whoever, it really is a do or die game, sadly. I'm not prepared for it to be do or die, but it's about to be do or die. And I think the players know it.
Yeah, the players 100%. I don't think the TSM players feel as pressured by it, but there's not a doubt
No.
in my mind that the 100 Thieves players, they know every
Yeah.
bit of pressure. Like this win means so much more to them than to
Yeah,
TSM
it
by a
does.
long shot.
Yeah. If TSM loses this, they're gonna get flamed like always.
Yeah, but they'll
But
be
they're
fine.
not. They're gonna be fine. But I think 100 Thieves knows if they lose this, their momentum all of a sudden they're. I mean, let me set a storyline for you. Let's say 100 Thieves loses. All of a sudden, you're one game from EG taking second from you, and you gotta play them on Sunday. And if EG Dream runs it, man, and just starts power throughing everything, you're in a very, very scary position come Sunday.
Yep.
And that is a storyline that should also be going. I mean, LCS needs to push this stuff out, man. I keep carrying them like this.
I'm posting shit on TikTok twice a day trying to carry the LCS.
I know.
I'm trying everything to build up hype. Oh
I'm
man.
terrified we're not going to get a 100K viewer final, to be honest.
I have full faith that we're getting a 100K viewer final. I think people are too pessimistic on it. We'll be fine, especially because it's in person and we'll be in the stadium. First of all, we won't care what the viewership is because we'll be there. But
True.
for everybody, like I think people underestimate how important the fans are. And I'm trying. I'm already writing them down in my notes, trying to get what chance I want going. Like the big one that I want, because I don't want it to be just TSM or 100 Thieves. Like that's boring. Like the big one that I want to get to go around the stadium is if like He makes a big play, just go He, and just get that going and echoing throughout the entire stadium during like pick ban or during some play. That would sound so good on the mics.
It would.
And
And you
some
can easily
people,
transition it to
yeah,
me.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like there's chance to be done there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't. When people are there in stadium, I want it to be loud and I want it to be obnoxious.
Don't worry.
And
When
don't
I yell
care.
sheesh one time, I'm going to overtake all your special chants and you're going to want to hit me.
I'm gonna chant out free SM. So
Yeah. Do it. Do
I
it.
will.
See what happens.
Oh, we'll see.
I hope you scream free SM and your team isn't even there. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me.
And with that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of the Crossover Podcast. Paul, anything else not dumb that you got to say before we go?
Well, let me think. Definitely just want to remind people that TSM-FTX is the premier esport organization.
Oh,
and
Jesus
please,
Christ.
LCS, if 100 Thieves TSM make the finals, please give me a Courage Myth live stream. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with everything he said other than TSM being the best because they absolutely suck. But thank you all for tuning in. Have a good one. And the stream is ended.